Ever wonder how a fisherman's wife handled this lifestyle back in the day? This next interview is as close as we can get. Sena Wheeler of Sena Wild Alaskan Fish is a fifth generation fisherman's wife. And in this episode, she shares how raising 3 kids solo during a 6-month separation is just part of their game. I'm Megan, host of the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast. This show is dedicated to girlfriends, fiancés, and wives of commercial fishermen to connect and feel less alone. As we know, this lifestyle isn't for the faint of heart. So this is our space in the world to discuss the highs and lows of being in a romantic relationship with a fisherman. Because it's different than being a family member or friend. It just is. Join in to laugh, vent, and share stories with others who get your lifestyle. So what are you waiting for? Let's dive in. Hi, POCFs. We have our girl, Sena Wheeler from Sena Seafoods with us today, which is really amazing. I was just telling Sena if she feels like...
Wait, hold on. I'm going to pause you.
Please do.
It's Sena.
Oh, Sena.
Sena C.
Thank you, Sena C. I'm going to leave problem. And not edit it out because I'm sure I'm not alone, or maybe I am alone, but I just want to be accountable.
No, it's absolutely no problem. And 50% of people say Sena. And even when I correct people and say it's Sena, sometimes people go Sena from Sena C. Hey.
Exactly. That's funny. And now I'm wondering if the Boston Expo, Sena, if I'm even pronouncing, I say Sena, and maybe that's why, or maybe I'm not saying that.
Oh, wrong. I definitely say Sena when we go. And sometimes there's huge banners that are like Sena, welcome. And I'm like, wow, thank you. I feel so welcome.
You guys really didn't have to go all out, but
I mean, wow.
It's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, exactly. Sena is one of our POCF sisters, as you can tell. I mean, I feel like we've all known each other for a long time. Especially, we've done a couple interviews together. She first interviewed about her family POCF life on the POCF lifestyle blog, which you can find at meganwaldrop.com and POCFpride.com. Also did a feature recently in National Fisherman, and which is spurring this conversation. Sena mentioned that she raises 3 beautiful children. You'll learn about them in the links in the show notes. But also her and her husband run the seafood business while they have 6 months separation, which is something that my fisherman and I are going through right now. I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina, and he is in California for the spiny lobster season. And I just want to learn how this superwoman keeps all of her ducks in a row, and also any kind of helpful advice and tips that we can take away to make our experience as POCFs the best it can be, because that's what this community is all about. So thank you, Sena, for being here and for correcting your name, so we all know from now on. And
Well, thank you. And I just want to say, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I feel a little bit like a OG now, because we've been married and doing this lifestyle for 23 years. And I've never seen anybody doing what you're doing. I've never seen anybody pull people together and talk about it and say, hey, this is a lifestyle, and so I have enjoyed following your content, and just sometimes it's just like, yeah, that is unique and it's kind of different, and it gives me pride in what we do and the ability to talk to people. There would be no format like this. So I love it. I think it's fun.
That means so much. Thank you so much for your words. That truly, truly means the world, especially from somebody who has been and is a part of a commercial fishing family even before you met your fisherman, because Rich, your husband, came a part of your family's fleet, which is a whole incredible story within itself that you can, that we'll learn more about, and on your website, Sena Seafoods as well. So yeah, that's so great. Thank you.
Well, my husband came that way, and so did my dad. So we are truly a fishing family, generational through the fishing wives. And we just bring the fishermen in.
That's amazing. So y'all have the best catch of the family. You're the ones essentially carrying on the tradition, and with your men. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And okay, this adds a whole other exciting element. So Speaking of, where are y'all right now within your fishing business? Is Rich in Alaska? Are y'all all together as a family? And how many months apart have you been? And how many more months do you have to go?
We're together. Rich is home, which is awesome. He's been home for about 10 days or 2 weeks, which is really great. These days, we've done a little bit of everything. So he's done several different fisheries. We've done it several different ways. But these days, for the last couple of years, he also runs a processing facility up in Alaska and fishes. So he's gone 6 months. So it's about April to October 1st. And our goal is that we see him, or some part of our family sees some part of our family, because our kids are a little older, every month. So little visits here and there. So he's gone 6 months, but we get little snippets of him.
Oh, that's so great. So whenever you get snippets of him, is it because he's coming to you or you're going to him?
We do a variety. So the first month in May, just because, and I know we got a lot more to talk about, but in May is the opener for Copper River. It's a big deal. Our business is a big deal. And I go out on the boat with Rich. So I leave the kids, go out on the boat with him, fish the opener, and fly the fresh fish down and ship it to our customers. And it's the only way I can guarantee we'll get that fish, because it's a huge deal, the Copper River opener. And it's totally fun for us to fish together, and we love it. And so we do that. And then he might come up for a little visit in June. Is really hard. There might be different things, this year he went to Japan with our son for wrestling, which was a really big deal. So, life, all the things, but we typically bring the kids up in July-ish. And when they were small, we brought them up for 6 weeks and lived on the boat and fished with the kids. And these days they're teenagers, they're busy. We're lucky if we can fit in 2 weeks. And then he might, come this or that. And so it's a combination of us going up, or him coming down, or doing this, or going off to some event.
Well, okay. So I'm just going to jump around to all these questions that we send, because it all goes together.
Right.
Yes. So can you tell us about your kids? How old are they now? I can't believe they're teenagers, by the way.
I know.
Because I have, they're cute, sweet. I'm sure they're sweet and cute still, but they are not teenagers.
I know. It's so bad. I still use those pictures that they were taken the first year we started Sena Sea, so 8 years ago, and they are so cute. I still use them, and because to me it's it's still us. But our kids are now, our oldest is 18. He just turned, so Rich came home for his 18th birthday, which was one of those little quick trips. But 18, and then turning 15 and 12. So we have 2 high schoolers and a middle schooler right now, which I can't believe either.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so not only getting, 2 weeks off together, I'm sure in summertime is a challenge, but also what is the commute like up there? I mean, how do you logistically get from your home to?
So he's in Cordova, and it's not a horrible flight. There's 2 ways you fly up to Anchorage, and then it's a little half-hour jump down on a smaller plane, or you fly everything's out of Seattle. Fly from Seattle and you stop in Juneau, Yakutat, Cordova, and we can do that flight in our sleep. My kids, when they're 12, I don't know, things turn into a tradition on accident, but when my son was 12, he flew up by himself. Then when our next daughter was 12, she was like, this is the year I'm flying by myself to go see dad. And she set it all up, and she didn't want to fish, but she wanted to work at the local bakery. She just is I'm not going to do it your way, but I'm going to do it. And so that's kind of our tradition, is when they're 12, they can fly by themselves, and they might go up early and then we come up or something like that. But getting that time up with him, and Rich he runs the plant and he fishes salmon during that time of year, which is maybe a night or 2 out, or you might stay out for 4 nights, but it's very low key, small. Our boat can fit our family. And Rich is just the kind of guy who's yes, I want my kids with me as much as possible, and they can just come and hang out and do whatever I do. And he'll take them on the boat. there's certain times of the year and certain conditions he won't take them in, but if he can, he'll take them.
Wow. I love this. Okay. So did you and Rich have this discussion of how you would raise your family together before you had kids? Or did you kind of already know what you were getting yourself into because you're raised in a family like this? And if so, how does that expectation compare to the reality of it?
Yes, I knew what I was getting into because my dad was a commercial fisherman. My grandpa was a commercial fisherman. Most of my uncles are commercial fishermen. And so I was raised very much in the lifestyle of commercial fishing. And so my husband, Rich, fished since before we were married. And so it felt very like, yeah, it's just, this is what it is. It didn't feel, it didn't feel like a choice in a way. It didn't feel like it was pushed on us or me, but I just always felt at peace with it. Like, this is the lifestyle that I will live. And it felt okay. When we were first married, months into we got married, a couple months later, there was kind of the boat, the guys were buying the boat from my dad, and Rich was involved. So it was very clear, like very early on, okay, we're going to buy in or not. And at that point, my dad called me and said, "Are you sure this is the life you want?" And it was like, and he meant it. And like, he said, I'm not doing this unless you tell me this is what you want as my daughter, and it was like, yeah.
It got real.
Yeah, it was real. And I said, yeah. And I go back to that moment often, actually. And we'll get to this, I'm sure, but a lot of what I fall on is mindset. It's how you think of it. It's, and I often remember, this is my choice. I am not a victim here. Nobody made me do this. This was my choice. This is the life I've chosen to lead. And that brings me a lot of strength when I need it, because it can get you out of like this kind of victim mindset.
Mm-hmm. So with understanding the life and embracing it in the way that you know and love, do you suffer from any kind of like anxiety or worrying about Rich, or is this also another factor of that just comes with the lifestyle that you knew you were getting yourself into?
For me, it comes with the lifestyle. So, I mean, I can think of a couple times I've worried, and I'm not a worrier in general. I'm not a worrier. And I think partly it's because I grew up with this. So I can remember being a young kid and, worrying about my dad out there fishing. And what I taught myself to do, I would envision the boat. We know the boat very well. We spent a lot of time on the boat. The Alrita was his boat. He's the captain. And it was a family boat. And I just put all my faith in that boat. I would visualize, I remember I was very young, but I would visualize that boat as a cork in the ocean, unsinkable cork in the ocean, that it would just stay floating. That's all. And nothing else would matter. And that vision, that's what I just relied on. And so I learned, I guess, at an early age to just like have faith, if that's the right word. But I just put it all, that cork on the water. I go there if I need to. But spiraling or worrying is non-productive. And I think that the next time I can kind of recall as when I was first pregnant. So I have 3 kids. I've been pregnant 3 times, but when I was first pregnant with our son and he left, and I think it was partly, it's so funny. I was working full time and everybody just poured sympathy on me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's leaving for fishing. I have this big old belly, he's leaving you alone. You're pregnant. And like, I like kind of fed into that, and it turned out to be some of the lowest times, because it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I am all alone, and I had a moment pregnant going, oh my gosh, he's out in the ocean and I've got this baby, like this better turn out right. And I had to go back to the cork on the ocean, and I haven't gone there again. But so I get it. You go there, but I try not to.
I love go back to the cork. That's like hitting the bottle. It's like go back to the cork, but productive and healthy. Okay, so you touched on faith, which something I love to talk about is spirituality, just with my friends, and something that's important to me. And I'm wondering, do you are you, if you don't mind sharing, or do you consider yourself religious or spiritual? And do you have some kind of a practice or ritual that you do to, yeah, for you?
No, I am not very spiritual myself. I think that when I use faith, it's very much like a faith in, I don't know, um, just a trust, and trusting in me and in my family. And I can be very like small universe way of thinking. But I think it's just a deep trust.
Love that. That's such a great answer too. Okay, so we touched on the headspace, which I love, and I'd love to also discuss. Can you, whenever your husband is fishing, can you describe a typical day or a week in your household with your family while your fisherman is gone?
Oh boy. Well, we've done it all. So I should say, I mean, not only have I had kids at every age, because now I have an 18-year-old, I've had the kids at every age, one kid, two kids, three kids. I've also throughout that time, worked full time with and without kids, two kids in daycare, part time, stayed home. And now I run a business from home. So I work from home. So, I've done it all. Done it every which way, and I can say there's no one answer. It's just personal preference. And the way I had a friend way back who I talked to, and she's always, her mantra, especially with young kids, I was like trying to figure it out, like, oh, here's how we're going to do it. And she would go, just figure out what works for the next couple of months. And that was huge. So we've done it every which way. And we just figure out what's going to work now, what's working today, what are we going to do this time. So when he would leave, when the kids were really little, is what I had figured out was Rich is awesome and really fun, and he's a great dad, and in some ways it makes it harder because he has such a big personality. He has this music he plays, all these things, and when he leaves, it's a big void. But what I do well is consistency, structure, the boring stuff. And so when the kids were real little, he would leave, and we'd go do something fun or, whatever. We used to go shopping when I was a kid, but we come back home and it would be like, okay, like, let's get serious. I'd always do a chart. So charts didn't work when he's home because Rich is not going to follow through on this silly little chart, but I will. It's my thing, right? So I'd put a chart on the wall. The kids would be various ages. I mean, like 2, 5, 7, whatever. And so my best chart, I just think of different ones, but my best chart was, okay, mom, no problem. So I wrote that at the top. Okay, mom, no problem. Do each of their names, like 10 dots. And then you get to the first prize. And every time you say, okay, mom, no problem. I mean, I don't care if I just ask you to tie your shoes or pick up the piece of paper or, clean your bedroom. You just say, okay, mom, no problem, with a good attitude. And then you go do it. I don't care what it is. You get to color in a little circle. And they just thought it was so fun because they thought they were like scamming me. Like, oh, this is so easy. All I got to do is say, okay, mom, no problem. And I'm like, yeah.
Brilliant. Oh my God.
So it fostered a lot of teamwork doing stuff like that. And it would be, we're working together here. And that's a lot of what I talk about with the kids is like, hey, well, we do hard things and we pull together when times get tough. And that, I have these kind of mantras that I say, when it gets difficult, we pull together, we do it the hard way and it makes us stronger. And anyways, they get to color these circles and I'd have these prizes. So the first prize is they get to cook dinner with me and they get to pick it out and, go to the store and then cook. And the other kids can't be in the kitchen. And so they'd always be like, oh, whatever, and then they always like that one. And then I'd have different prize levels, right? The biggest prize, like the Lego kit, which they also don't know. That's like 2 hours of quiet for me.
This is so good. I'm writing these down to put them in the show notes. This is gold. I have to share this with my sister. Brilliant. Thank you for all those amazing tips.
It's fun now because they're teenagers and they'll sometimes go, okay, Mom, no problem.
You phrased them well. That's hilarious. Okay. So for you, including, the chart, in addition to that, what is a priority for your household during the season? Is there something that maybe you do or eat or go, or I don't know, that makes the family kind of reset and realize, all right, it's our time we know what to do.
I would say family meals. We do it with and without Rich, and keeping that, to me, cooking family dinners is really important. And I do it, our kids are older and even sometimes they're sports or this or that. So it might just be me and the girls. That we have a son and then 2 girls, and it might be just 3 of us, but we sit down and have our dinner at the table and that kind of a thing. So really kind of doing that. And to me, nutrition is just a huge priority, plus eating our own fish. I mean, it seems obvious, but we have a freezer full of the best, most amazing fish ever. And so just really leaning into that and serving that with pride. And it keeps that connection, really. We're talking about his fish and we're eating it and enjoying it and having the fish be a big part of our lifestyle.
I love that. And what is a priority for you during the season for self-care or anything like that? Do you have anything that you prioritize for yourself?
I have learned that it's really good to prioritize sleep. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but it's the biggest thing. Rich is always like, he tries to do his problem solving from the boat, because we talk quite a bit. And he loves to get up early and get stuff done. So anytime I get overwhelmed, he's like, well, get up earlier. And I'm telling you, I have tried that so many times and I just get burnt out. I get tired. And for me, getting tired means getting overwhelmed. When I'm tired, I get overwhelmed and then I get indecisive. And I'm, not doing the best job when I'm indecisive and tired. And so I just need to prioritize sleep and just go, well, everything runs smoother when I'm at my best.
I love that. It's such a great thing for people to remember, POCFs to remember, because it can be so easy just to keep thinking all day long about all the things you need to do or whatever your partner is doing.
Right.
Okay. So wondering, what is something that you feel you're most challenged with right now as a partner of a commercial fisherman?
Besides my dirty house, my house is never clean. I will just say that. I mean, I do everything, and like I do zone defense now with the kids. Like, hey, this is your area and that's your area, and I mean, I prioritize food and healthy cooking, and I will just cook dinner in a dirty kitchen if I need to. So that's just keeping the house clean is always a problem, and it's partly because of me. So I'm too busy to do it. But I would say that just the ongoing thing, I mean, just like everybody, we've been doing this for so many years, 23 years now. I'm always want him to be home more. It's the forever struggle. I mean, when we started our business, selling his fish, it was, okay, well, if we can make this extra money, then he can be home more. And it's like, it's the goal that's always out there that so far it hasn't really happened, but I think that's the forever struggle, is just, okay, how do you really get them home more?
Absolutely. And to skip around to another question I had, I was wondering, fishermen in your family, when they retired, did they do like another career, or were they done, or was it hard to even pull them off of the boat? Like, how did that transition from commercial fishing go for people in your family? What do they do?
Well, the sad story of my grandfather is that he died of a stroke before he could retire. He fished very long, and my grandma was, waiting and waiting and waiting. They had adult children, grandkids. I was probably 5, and he'd been down to the boat that day, and when he died, he had never retired. So that was a lesson, and he was Norwegian. A lot of the Norwegian guys would fish way, way past retirement age. And, I've always thought it's really sad. It's really sad that they didn't get that second phase. My dad did the opposite. And, it might partially be, he saw the opening and he went for it. It might partially be from going through that with my mom's dad. Seeing that side of things. And so he retired early. He retired at 55, and he sold the boat to his crew because they came to him and said, "Hey, how about this idea?" And sold the quota and all this. He'd fished through the Derby days, and now it's quota and things are different. And they came to him with this offer. And like I said, that was right when Rich and I got married, and Rich was involved. And so that knowing it would carry on to the next generation, I think. So anyways, he retired at 55, which is pretty early. And he kind of thought about a lot of other things, but I think he's just had so much fun with retirement. He has really shown that this is what it's all about. They have a wonderful lifestyle, and my parents travel a ton and do all kinds of really awesome stuff. So it's like, oh, that's a nice light at the end of the tunnel. So they've really shown that side of things.
Oh, wow. That's such an interesting experience. I'm sorry for the loss of your grandfather. But man, like, as you said, what a lesson in itself.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I've spoken with other partners of commercial fishermen from, just starting to date their fishermen to those who've been with them for 40 plus years. And the fishermen are looking at retirement, but they're not sure where to go. So they're kind of frozen, and so to hear these other stories of even the inspiration that your dad took, I mean, yeah, this is helpful for others. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So what is a joy at this stage of your partner of commercial fisherman life?
As a family, we love to get out on the boat. And so like say, that's for salmon fishing. Is a smaller boat situation. Long lining is what my dad did and all of my relatives. And that's like 5 guys on almost like a crab boat, and they're out for weeks. And that's not a family fishery. It's one reason that Rich got into salmon. Was the dream was to have the kids out and to do it more as a family so that he can be fishing, but spending time with the family. I mean, for a lot of fishermen, that's like one of the dreams, is to be out there. It's like doing what you love and having your family with you. And so we love doing that. And it's life on the boat. And we have gill netters are small, but ours is, well, it's kind of fat. And we have actually a couple bunks, and we can fit the family, which is awesome. But it's one of those things where it's a joy, and it's even more of a joy in your memory when you're not on the boat with a family of 5. Because during it, you're like, you're a little close to me.
That's great.
But we look back at the photos, and when we remember it, we're like, oh, it's so amazing. It's like a road trip that way.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, it's just like the full essence, the full experience. You got to have like the highs and the lows, and you guys are living a life on that boat. I mean, that's great. It really is. Okay. And I'd love to know, what would you like listeners to take away from most, and how can they connect with you and Sena Seafoods?
First, what I'd love for people to take away is, I think I touched on earlier, is this mindset. I am not perfect all the time, but always finding my way back to this mindset that tends to really help. And even the thinking, I mean, Rich is gone for 6 months now, and I can spend time thinking, when I think Rich is gone too much, that sends certain thoughts. Then I start thinking, what about the kids? And is it too much and all the negative effects? And if I just stop at Rich is gone, period, drop the too much, it's just a fact and I can deal with it. And the kids are doing great and they're doing well. And we have a lot of fun over the summer and we do a lot of really cool stuff. And it's more okay if I just drop that too much. And I have noticed, I have friends, how do I say this nicely? I'd rather have a great husband half the time than kind of a horrible one all the time. He's a great father, great husband. We really love him. And when he's gone, we have fun and I do, I get to do whatever I want and we have a great time. And so it's really switching that mindset to have a lot of freedom to do all kinds of really cool stuff. We have these camping trips we do with other moms and kids and things like that. And it's all good. This is a choice and there's a lot of upside and remembering that, I think. So to me, it's a lot about mindset. The second part on how people can find me is come check us out at senac.com. So this is our business that we started. He's been fishing for 23 years, but in the last 8 years, we started selling our catch. And during that, I have started emailing. So jump on the email list because that's where I put a lot of my time and energy into is just communicating with our people and our customers. And yes, I'm selling fish, but I'm also telling stories and talking about the lifestyle and things like that.
And you also have a cookbook, correct?
Yeah, we have just some family recipes, keeping it really easy. I've just found with fish, people are just lack confidence a lot. And so I'm just going, okay, well, here's how, we've been doing this a long time, generations. Here's how we cook our fish. So check that out too.
It's so special. It's so special. Are you going to the Pacific Marine Expo in Seattle this year?
Yeah, I do try to make it. I think sometimes we miss, but we will be trying to make it, which would be super fun. I love that one because it's Seattle area. And so we know a lot of fishermen in that area.
That's awesome. I hope to meet you in person. I want to personally invite you to, we are taking over the Partners of Commercial Fishermen. We're taking over the National Fisherman booth on Wednesday and Thursday from 3:45 to 4:45. And
cool.
Be a Partners of Commercial Fishermen parlor lounge where there's drinks and there's snacks for that are there for the first 25 that come up, but also just a place to connect with us, each other and kick it. And yeah.
Fun. Okay, definitely. That sounds awesome.
Welcome. Because it is such a long day that I wanted to have a place that we could all literally just chill and feel like we belong there, because it can sometimes feel like it's hard to find somewhere to just be. So this is our place to just be. And also it represents and honors the generations, including women in your family who have nurtured commercial fishing families and communities. So this is that symbolic space for us. And I really, really hope to meet you there. And that would be so great.
Oh, fun. I love it. That's great. Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Sena Wheeler of Sena Seafoods, y'all. What a pleasure it is. And just can't thank you enough. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thank you.
I so appreciate you being here. There really is nothing like speaking to the commercial fishing community and those who support it. And not only that, the actual partners of commercial fishermen, the girlfriends, fiancés, wives, and partners, because it truly is a totally different, unique experience that no one can understand except other POCFs. So thank you so much for listening. And if you would like to support our community even further, you can tap the subscribe button, share with family and friends, post on socials, or write a review. The reviews would be so incredibly helpful for others to see that we're out there and we can get all up in their algorithm to see that they're not alone. You know how it is. And if you're a POCF looking for more resources on how to navigate this unique lifestyle, things from long distance dating to motherhood advice, you can visit POCFpride.com. That's POCFpride.com, and we can't wait to meet you.
I need to take a minute to shout out our private forum. It is just getting better and better every day, and I want to take a moment to tell you about how incredible it is. So our private forum is a VIP members-only community with POCFs. It's for you to connect with other partners of commercial fishermen around the world whenever you want, need, or seek support. And the bonuses are that this is the only way that you get access to monthly Zoom calls to connect with other members on topics that are important to you, private podcast series where I publish behind closed doors conversations from guests that you've heard on this podcast. And let me tell you, that's when the tea is spilled. That is the good stuff. It's where they feel comfortable to speak to other POCFs because they are as well. And it's just real nice. Easy to navigate topics so you can join or start conversations with other POCFs as you please. There's no searching and figuring out what people have been talking about. Everything is beautifully categorized. So you can jump in to getting married to a fisherman, mom advice, the list goes on and on. This is also the place that you can ask questions or vent with love without judgment. We know you love your fishermen. We also know that it can be tough sometimes with this lifestyle. You can talk to us and we'll never judge you. This is your safe space. This is also this is the place that you have the ability to ask me questions, seek advice, or get feedback. And this is the only way to currently reach me directly. I'm so excited and proud and I'm amazed about how this community has grown. And this is the best way for us all to commune. It's just social medias and emails are kind of getting out of control. And I would love to have our personal connection in this forum. So this is where you can reach me. There's also private resources from money management to mental health, you name it. It's going to be ongoing, added, juicy memory bank of resources constantly for forum members. There's also quarterly virtual events with trusted professionals that focus on the lifestyle challenges that we have and how to overcome them. And you also get first access to annual in-person events and to hang out with your fish sisters in real life, y'all. So if you want to check it out, you can go to meganwaldrop.com/private-forum, and there is the beautiful landing page for you to learn all about these goodies and how to become a member too. We really, really cannot wait to meet you. And if you have any questions, you can email me and my team at support@meganwaldrop.com. I got you.
Thanks for listening today. Being here means you're a part of the POCF family, and we wouldn't be a community without you. I'm Megan, and this is the Partners of Commercial Fishermen podcast. As always, much love, POCF pride, and remember, you are not alone.